All right, delighted to have with me. I love it when we get our locals in the NFL and can spend a minute visiting with them. Nate Orchard, not only local, University of Utah, but of course, Highland High School. I still remember you running around on the basketball court. They probably don't like you doing that as an NFL player. Is that
Yeah,
right?
they got all kind of restrictions on that now. Seems like they got cameras everywhere.
Yeah, you got to be really careful. Second round pick, 2015, Cleveland Browns. You were there 3 years and spent a little time with the Bills in Kansas City. But let's talk about, before we get into football, you're staying at home like we all are. You got 3 kids. You're trying to balance. You're one of them homeschooling, working out. How are you managing day to day everything that's going on in the Orchard household?
Oh man, it's in its own way has been kind of special because we really get to bond with the kids. Homeschool has been very interesting on so many levels because you got a 6-year-old that needs attention, right? We need to help her with her math. Then a 4-year-old who we need to help with ABCs and numbers and tracing. And then you have my little man, Bo, who's just wrecking the joint. I mean, he's all over the place, up and down. He just wants to play basketball all day. So you have balls just flying all over the house, hitting everybody. So it's fun.
You learn a lot about how much you still remember about school all of a sudden, don't you? I hear that a lot. I mean, my kids are all older, but my grandkids, I hear from all my kids trying to work with them.
Right, and how the math has changed over the years. And even my daughter, who's in kindergarten, she's telling me, well, my teacher says we got to do it this way. Well, I'm like, it's just 2 + 2. Like, no, Dad, it's just how we count it. Let me show you. And she's throwing all these signs. I'm like, okay, that works.
Like this, yeah. Well, you know what? You're a great father, a great family man. So that's good to hear that you're managing. Let's talk a little bit about football. What a relief this year. By the way, congratulations. You signed the 1-year deal with Washington. A little better situation than last year when you were bouncing around. Did I hear a dozen different teams worked you out in between you working with your family's window business and that? You've got to be a little more relaxed this year. Or can you ever relax?
Well, you can never relax, but compared to last year's situation, definitely more relaxed in a sense. But yeah, 12 different tryouts. Signed with Seattle earlier in the year, going to the OTAs. They released me after signing Ziggy Ansah, and then I'm in Miami, go there for training camp, do really well, and then unexpectedly get released going into that first week of the season. And then from there, that's when the journey began of tryout after tryout, family not really knowing whether I'm coming back home or not, right? So you leave Monday. I said, okay, give the kids a kiss and say, I'll maybe see you tomorrow night, or I'll maybe see you in a couple of weeks or months, who knows? And so that got stressful, and it was tough. It was tough, but it was just part of the process. And the kids are resilient, and I'm thankful for my wife for being so supportive.
Yeah, you got to have a good support group, no question about that. So you signed with the Redskins. They get a new coaching staff this year. Tell me first, and we're all very familiar with Ron Rivera. He had a lot of success with Carolina. And Jack Del Rio, your defensive coordinator. What have these guys told you they expect out of you?
Well, we have very little talk with these guys just because everything is virtual now. They've had the draft going on, but really we've had great messages from our position coaches and special teams coordinator, really harping on team, and giving it your all, and how just the level of expectation from these coaches.
Now they drafted Chase Young right out of the gate. In fact, I think they drafted a couple of edge guys early on. There's a lot of people there. How do you feel about the competition as you go into this season?
Honestly, it's competition, and I thrive off of it. Whether you're a rookie coming in thinking you're drafted, your job is never secured. No matter, first round, yes, but after that, it's like everything's up in the air. I know we got Chase Young in the first. We got a 7th round pick, and a couple guys in free agency. But at the end of the day, it's a clean slate for everyone. Everyone has to, make their mark and let people know why they belong, not only on this team, but on teams throughout the league.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have they given you any idea at all? I was talking to Jackson Barton earlier. You spent a minute with him in Kansas City. He has a ring, of course. He was telling me he still doesn't really know what scheduling is going to be happening in terms of workouts and things like that. I mean, we live in a strange world, but have you gotten any indication from your coaching staff where that's headed?
No, we got an update today that May 15th, the NFL kind of announced what the next step is going to be. We don't know what that is, but I mean, it could be really realistically, the next report day is training camp, which is the end of July. But anything in between then is just up in the air. Just a lot of moving pieces for everyone.
So in the meantime, you just work out yourself and around the kids and all the family responsibilities.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's wild, and that's just part of being a professional. You have to lay your foundation, and you have to learn to adapt to situations, even like this, where for me, my schedule is I run in the morning at 8:00. Kids come with me. We run at the high school, just on the field, right? So they get their exercise in as well. First meeting starts at 9:30. And so I'll go from 9:30 to noon with my meetings. All the kids are with my wife, running around outside doing their thing. Then I have my own little walkthrough, right, with one of my coaches. And we go through plays. And then I get my lift in. And then I get another walkthrough. And then it's like downtime with the family and recovery and enjoying the rest of the day. So that's just part of being a pro. You really have to learn to adapt to these kind of situations and just and still be the best that you can be.
Let me ask you about a couple of your teammates on the other side of the ball. First of all, did you watch the Alex Smith feature? There's some things in there that you can't unsee that I didn't even want to look at with that leg. But
yeah.
Do you see any of that? Have you spoken at all to him and about his?
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I read briefly on ESPN about it, right? And they had some images on there, and even just seeing Alex personally when I was there last year for those last 5 weeks, I got to interact with him. Heck, he had some of my wife's famous football cookies, and he loved it. So that might speed up the healing process for my guy. But it's a great, humble, down-to-earth human being, and I'm very fortunate to be able to, say I'm teammates with him and to see him going through that process of recovering.
I'll tell you, that was so rough. I hope he can get back on the field, but man, seeing that, if he does and he can overcome that, that says a lot about the guy, doesn't it?
Yeah, no doubt, 100%. Like I said, when I first got there, he was one of the first guys I saw in the weight room, right? And this is at like 7 a.m. Alex is in there getting his lift on, and I thought it was Clark Kent in the room when I walked in. I mean, this dude is just jacked, all upper body, just massive, right? I'm like, man, he must be like a linebacker, a defensive end or something like that. But he's doing really well and taking care of himself. And so
that's great. Yeah. On the other side of that, Dwayne Haskins, what do you think about the future for this young man? He's kind of had it up and down early on.
Yeah. Being in the league 5 years, you have gone through numerous amounts of quarterbacks, even just being in Cleveland alone, from Johnny Manziel to Kaiser to Cody Kessler, you name it. I've seen it all. But Dwayne is just another cat that, again, has a passion for the game, is driven just as RG3 is, one of the first ones in the building, last one to leave, and loves football. And so you get the right guys around him, he's going to be tough to stop.
Would Manziel be one that you would consider one of your most unique teammates?
100%. 100%. No doubt about it, Dave. I'm talking about you feel bad for the guy because come lunchtime, dinner time, even during training camp, guys are in the cafeteria getting their lunch, sitting down at tables, talking about life, catching up, right? How they're getting yelled at by coaches. And Johnny grabs his plate and he's gone and heads into the meeting room. And that was every day. I'm like, why does Johnny do that? And then I start to notice as Johnny was walking out, he was on the TV at the same time. I'm like, that's why, right? Just some type of update on Johnny Manziel doing this or that, being at this club, doing it. But I was like, but he's just right here, and I was just with him. I don't know how he does it. So.
Oh, what a spotlight that guy was under during those days. Well, you were at Cleveland for some rough times, so hopefully better times coming for the Redskins. What about the NFC East, though, by the way? Dallas, I thought, really helped themselves with the draft. Still waiting to get Dak signed. Philadelphia's a good team. I think we're a little ways away with the Giants, but how do you guys all fit in that 4-team race?
I mean, already defensively, we're going to have to stop, right? We are stacked at every position, from linebackers, safeties, DBs, you name it. But ultimately, it also starts up front when we have great guys in the room to really do some damage. And on the opposite side of the ball, it's scary as well with the position at the running back position. and the receivers that we just drafted as well, and the guys that we already have in that room. And so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We have all the talent in the world. We just got to put it together, and that's why it sucks being in this situation where everything's done virtually. You don't get those reps on the field where you create chemistry. But again, hopefully guys are doing their part, and that when we do come back together, we can just get the ball rolling.
Well, I think you're on the right track with Ron Rivera. It's a proven head coach. He's the right guy, I believe, for that job. A couple of quick things before I let you go. And again, thanks for taking a minute. 7 Utes drafted in the NFL this year, 6 on the defensive side. What does that say for Kyle Whittingham's program and what he's been able to do? And of course, you had a lot of success there as well, second-round pick when you came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just – I keep preaching it, and then I say it all the time. It's just, this is what we do, right? We are defense all the way. We're mean, we're nasty, and people in the NFL teams are starting to realize that. Like, these guys can play ball, right? No matter the position. Even me being a former receiver, moving to the defensive side, Coach Witt just has that knack for knowing where guys' true talent and where they can play at the next level at. And so, you know, when I got there at 185 pounds, after 2 weeks of being on the offensive side, he said, hey, if you put on 50, 60 pounds, I promise you'll go to the NFL. And I said, okay. And so that next week moved me over, and 50 pounds later, here I am drafted in the second round. But really, hats off to him. He knows what he's doing. I saw him swing a golf club the other day. He might need some help with that. But other than that, he's a really good coach.
Yeah. Well, you don't want him to be too good of a golfer, or he's not spending enough time coaching. Mate, you were only 185 when you came in? Wow.
185.
You were pretty svelte back then.
I look back at pictures, and I thought I was the biggest dude in the room. And then, man, I feel bad for myself just seeing those photos. But confidence is good.
You're what, 250, I think, is where you're playing now?
250 now, yeah.
Good for you. Nate, thanks so much for being with us. Before I let you go, what would be your message in these crazy times, not only the Ute Nation, but the Redskins Nation as well, as we all try to stay safe and get through this pandemic?
Yeah, like you said, Dave, I mean, the best we can do for each other is stay safe, stay healthy, keep your distance, take care of your loved ones. And really hats off to those mothers at home, because as a father being home 24/7, you have a totally different perspective and level of respect for what women do and taking care of the household and keeping things intact. So, yeah, just stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll get through this together.
It's awesome. Nate, thanks so much for being with me. You're a great guy, good family man. All the best to your wife and the kids. And again, as you said, stay safe. And we look forward to seeing you on the football field this fall with the Redskins. Thank you, Nate.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Take care.